Hey guys, how's it going? It's Achon and welcome back to my channel. Okay, today I'm bringing you a really fun build that I've been working on over the last week or so. I'm calling it the Bully Tactician. A mercenary build that utilizes Ignite, Bleed, and CC to absolutely pull the proverbial underwear over the heads of mobs. This build pulls its power from the left side of the Tactician ascendancy tree. We are using minions, artillery mortars, and banners to do huge damage, and also hazards to keep mobs at a distance while we issue orders of attack. First, I'm going to show you how it plays, and then run through the passive tree and skill gems quickly. I have this build on max roll for further information. Also, give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. I'd really like to do this more often, and I will, with your help. So let's get to it. Okay, so here we go. I'm currently doing tier 14 maps on this character, which it is not ready for, but this will highlight how well this build plays in harder content. I usually start encounters by laying down artillery mortars, then switch to spear to access the rest of the kit and minions. The combination of Spear Field and Skeletal Warriors, who both apply bleeding, push back foes, keeping them far away most of the time. The combo between bleeding and knockback is fun, raking mobs continuously through the spears. Lightning Spear Empowered lays down Field of Shock, which helps with the DPS, though I'm considering switching to match the theme better. I just really like Shock Field. And finally Banners, to further increase the damage of all my allies. The unique I'm using increases my presence by 65%, letting me apply buffs from a much further range. The last thing I'll say before we cover the passives and skill gems is that this build is also great for playing with friends, for all the reasons stated above. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the passive tree, skill gems, and some of the equipment. First, let's highlight the Tactician Ascendancy side. Right now, I'm kind of going up the left side, where I get buffs to allies, 25% of the main hand weapon damage. So I'm kind of running that for a while. I might switch to banners, but I don't really use a lot of banners in this one. It is nice for empowering everything, and I might need to use it for defensive later in mapping, but right now, doing tier 4 the level I am, I don't really see any use in the banners, in having multiple banners. What I will though, with my last 2 points, I will be probably fleshing out the right where we want them. Pinned enemies cannot perform actions. That's just really nice to have. I used that pretty much as soon as I could when I got this ascendancy before I switched over to watch how I do it. And even at times I think about taking this off and putting it back over there when situations get a little sticky and mobs just kind of just keep attacking you. So yeah, that's pretty good. And I might go in and just put my last 2 points in minion damage and totem damage just for a little bit more DPS. But the focus on this build, at least for minions, is not DPS from them. They help apply bleed, knockback, etc. So as you're leveling up this build, you're not really going to be doing much until you get your minions and your totems. Those are going to be your main damage dealers. And then you can use abilities like Spear Throw and then Spear Field as well. But going through the passive tree, you want to take as many clusters that support you and your allies, since that matches the Tactician theme. Over here we have life regen and then attack speed for you and allies. That's almost a must-have right at the beginning of the game. Now, I find with my Skeletal Clerics, I don't really need a lot of life regeneration for my minions, so I haven't really spec'd to that. The second most important thing is coming over here and getting the Staggering Wounds, the 50% chance to knock back bleeding enemies with hits. So you're doing a lot of hits with Spear Field. My minions have Support Gem that does knockback, and my basic attacks also will apply bleed. And this just is a multiple ways of applying bleed and knocking them back, keeping them at a distance. Even take some of these knockback distance nodes helps too. Again, we are raking enemies through the spear field, multiplying that bleeding effect. Really, there's not much else to say. We go through here. We want to aggravate said bleeding. That's always nice for a quick DPS. And then we work our way up over here for totem damage and support. I haven't really decided how I wanted to flesh out this tree. So I've been kind of taking some flame and then as many of these ruby nodes as I could, or the jewel nodes. So that seems to be working really well with me. The last thing I'll say is under the mercenary tree, I think these clusters here and here is a must-have for any build that you do with the mercenary. This just gives you huge DPS buff when enemies are low on life, and if you're having trouble with rares and bossing, this cluster down here is just really nice to have. Okay, so that basically covers the passive tree. Let's go into the skills. I'm not going to go into the support gems too much. You can check this out on the max roll, but this is just to kind of give you an idea of what I got set up. Again, minions, my skeletal warriors are used as my first line of defense, so I like to have them a little beefier and defensive. I also have them set up for knockback and applying bleed, so that helps with the combination of everything else. Spear throw is just something to weave through in between your persistent skills. It's really nice for pushing back enemies when they get into your face, and it's decent DPS output as well. Wind Dancer buff is for defense. When enemies sometimes do get to you, it's nice to have that little pushback when they do. Blasphemy is something I've kind of been turning on and off. I don't really know if I really need it because I don't really get close enough to enemies to apply the curse well. But if you want to play more up close style, this works well. Storm Lance. Yes, this is nice mainly because of the shock field that the empowered version leaves on the ground. That just helps with all your sources of DPS applying to the foes. Herald of Blood. Again, we're bleeding everything, so that extra DPS AoE is really nice. Skeletal Cleric minions are there to keep my warriors alive. As long as they're alive, healing and reviving the warriors, I don't really have a problem with them ever being gone or off the field too much. Unless they all get wiped out by big AoE attacks, this is just nice to have. Again, you could probably take this out and add some life regeneration on the passive tree, but I really like how these guys work. Combat Frenzy is here for the Stormlance. Now I've been debating on taking this as Stormlance out and trying to put something else that matches the theme a little better, but this is just nice and I can't get over the shock field that Stormlance leaves. Artillery Ballista. Ah yes, one of your big DPS abilities. What's also nice about the Ballista is when you first set them down, they kind of act as a little bit of a wall, so it's nice to make these guys a little defensive too. But really, these are what's bringing the hurt and applying the Ignite. War Banner, I kind of put this down when I have a decent amount of the Valor built up, and I use it for rares and boss packs. And finally, Spearfield. Again, another way of applying bleed in the AoE, but also really good for that shotgun knockback you might need when enemies get to your face. So that's really nice. Finally, the only thing I'll say about the items, they are still kind of underwhelming right now. I just got into mapping and I blasted through to tier 10 with minimal upgrades. But right now I am getting pretty much one-shotted due to my lack of elemental resistances. The only thing I'll point out is this helmet of the blood price. Now this is really nice for this build because of the 65% increased presence of area effect. So when you're constantly moving around, your enemies and totems are popping in and out of your area of effect, and this kind of reduces that from happening and keeps them buffed throughout the fight. Quickly, I'll go over my character stats here. Again, I still need to flesh out some of my resistances, and my defensive abilities are kind of going into armor and evasion right now. I just need a little bit to take the hits. Again, this build is really nice because you're pushing everything to the side. You can get through the campaign and a decent amount of acts without having to put too much into your defenses. But like anything else, it has to happen. Alright, well I think that covers it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, give me a like and subscribe. I appreciate all your help. Thanks again for watching. H on out.